Bitcoin is going to zero.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Trading with OC. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic new year. And today is going to be the first session. We're going to get started. I think it was 1 hour late. Very sorry. Going back and forth through cities. My schedule gets a little wonky, but we're going to get started 1 hour earlier. Nonetheless, let me see if I can send a chat. Hello, world. Let me see, was that sent? I don't think so. Well, it doesn't matter. All right, so let's get started really quickly, and we're going to be taking a look at just a couple of things in here while we get started. And of course, we're going to be going over on where what am I looking at. And well, we have a big movers lately, but so far so good. So let's get it. We have Seth. What is up, my friend? Welcome. Great to have you here. Nice to have you. All right, so let's get it started. Let's go to the charts right away, and let's continue. All right, so let's go really quickly to super charting here. And of course, let's get it started with Bitcoin. I know I was looking at gold. By the way, gold looking pretty good. Maybe preparing for a possible reversal somewhere around 4,532. We'll see if we're able to break through, which I hope so. Right, if we get something like that, and then breakthrough, retest, and then we start hitting this area right here on where we have the purple line there. I think we're golden for the next rally. Let's get it. Hey, Heshlog, how's it going? Welcome. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's go to YouTube. Oh my God, let's go to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the 4 hours and where we left this out, right? By the way, this is not my usual setup, but here's what we are expecting, or we were expecting. Come back to this area. Let's get it. I mean, it actually played out very nicely. All right, we're having a range, very important, and I brought this up. If I'm not mistaken, I brought it up today in the live class with Alex O Crypto, and let me see if I can have it back here. We were looking for some images, and there was a special setup that I want to show you, like one that does not involve a... Oh, here we got some. All right, perfect. It's not exactly the one that I was looking for. Let me see if I can get that one. And let's see, maybe it's out here. Oh yeah, it's already out here. All right, nonetheless, since I already have this one on my hands, let's also use it. So let's copy that image, okay, and let's paste it here. All right, so very quickly, talking about Wyckoff, right? So that's gonna be the introduction. So let me double click in here, of course, and let's see opacity all the way up. Perfect. And there we go. So this is the Wyckoff scenarios. All right, we have different setups of Wyckoff. The most popular is this one with a spring, breakout, retest, continuation, breakout. All right, but also we have no spring setups in here. All right, and also there we go, we have just a range in between that then gets a further continuation. This is a flat pause of bearish continuation. All right, so this is the one that I'm most interested on right here, and I got it for you guys in here. Let me just hide this, put it in there. All right, and then of course let me zoom out. Let's go to a daily really quickly. I think that's where we're going to be seeing the most correlation. And all right, this is what I'm looking at. All right, let's take a look at here. This low, this highs, coming down this low, and then as we go up, instead of having a Wyckoff regular spring, so going back down, having the spring and then bounced, So basically, instead of having this, well, what we see is that we range in there. And you can see it here, sign of strength. All right. So this could be one of the things that we could be looking into. Let me just get back to the 4 hours. That's why I'm marking this area of support. Not only that, also we were here speculating direction of dynamic reactor, of course, right? And right here we have quantum reactor. So very quickly, keep your eyes on this area right here on Bitcoin, somewhere around 90,752, somewhere around those areas. That is going to be our support. How long are we going to be setting into or on our hands, right? So it's not going to be forever, but we want to see what's going to happen with this ribbon. All right, really quickly. If we flip like that, most likely we're gonna make a range. All right, and if we make that range, you buy low, right, and then you sell high. But basically we're gonna be looking to buy right down here. All right, if we have the V-shaped recovery or the flip of the ribbon right here. But instead of the flip of the ribbon, if we see that we start piercing through, all right, so breaking through that zero line, and then we see also our money flow going lower, well, then most likely we are going to be continuing down and having the spring, just a casual, normal spring, right? So let me bring up one of my favorite Wyckoff charts, and it's made by the Binance, by the way. Let's bring it up in where it went. All right, went in here. Perfect. This is it, and here it is. All right, so if we start piercing through that zero line, most likely we're going to create the next drawdown, and we're going to be looking for that spring, right? And on that spring, if you want to hunt that very low, we're going to try it. But most likely we're going to get this very first retracement, adding to it into the second retracement, and then riding it all the way to the upside, right? But in the meantime, where we're standing right here at the top of the range, all right, looking for a possible range. So let's keep that in mind. Other stuff around that I need to talk about, it's rotation of capital. So what is the rotation of capital? Well, remember, as we start ending the cycle, we are seeing money going first from USDT to Bitcoin, right? Then from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and second places, maybe Solana. All right, and then after going out of Ethereum, we're going to be seeing money flowing into the top 100. What we got on the top 100, let's take a look at it here. So let's go to market cap. Let me see. Oh, this is not the one. All right, perfect. I got it here for you. Perfect. Let's bring it up. And right here, well, we can order this by market cap. All right. So for the first one, we are seeing, or we did sell USDT or money flowing to Bitcoin, then into Ethereum, and then top 100. What do we have on the top 100? XRP, BNB, Solana, and Tron. All right. So I'm going to be putting this away for a second. And now let's take a look at all of those assets, starting with Ethereum. And what do we see on Ethereum? Another run up. All right, look at that. I was actually expecting a little bit of a range, all right, and then a continuation upwards, but we are still pushing. We have a bearish divergence, a second order block, and we have a peak seeker right hidden right below that order or overbought. So is it going up or down? It's going up. I'm not sending you to buy because this is a top, all right? But be aware that we're going to be trying to push higher. Why is that? Because look at your volume matrix and look at your money flow, right? Despite we're making a retracement, the worst case scenario right here, when we have a retracement on momentum, but we do have money flow, that means that most likely we're going to be seeing that little range. Therefore, thus, my range calculation in here. I'm just gonna edit it a little bit and put it somewhere around there, all right? And I'm gonna still calculate it based on what I see. Nonetheless, I'm gonna set an alert right here at 3,418, and that is gonna be our next area of possible entry. So there we go. We have our first area of entry right here at 3,418. Really quickly, if you're new in here, remember this is not something that you should be taking blindly. You should absolutely be looking at your own charts and only taking the trade whenever you have your confirmation. All right, so let's move into the next one and let's take a look at BNB. BNB had the same run up. All right, the defense right now is that we are on resistance. We're coming back down, and I will say that if we want to short BNB, well, I would really wait for another candle to top somewhere around 920. In fact, I would actually be looking for somewhere around the previous monthly high, somewhere around here. So let me add an alert right there at the very tippy top, 924. And if I start losing, if I lose my zero line right here, well, that's when I'm gonna start entering for a short. All right, in the meantime, I'm gonna be looking for that flip of the ribbon. And then, of course, XRP already had the run up. They're coming back down, so the retracement, and that was our entry. So far, if you did not cut this entry, don't worry. This is going to come back down for a little bit more. So let's go for a long position somewhere around here. But remember, this long position, it's very dangerous. So let me add a stop loss somewhere around here, and I'm gonna be dividing this. Right now, this is going to be my first half position entry. Why? Because I'm going to be looking for another half a position right there. Why is it going to be right here? Well, we have an order block and we have a predictive range right down there. Let me bring those indicators up, and just for sake of not waiting for everything, there we go. Look at that. I just turned everything on, and we have a huge... well, like a huge amount of support right down here, right? We have a, let me show right here. We have a fantastic resistance zone, on the equilibrium zone right down here with this W right around this area at 2012. I mean 2001, 2.12. My bad. I read that as a comma. I said 2.12 right around here. Right almost at the middle between those two order blocks, right? Both high order blocks, and one very, very dramatically bullish, right? And the next one somewhere around 2.19. So looking for that possible entry. Now that you see this, well, consider just going slightly bit lower and then compensate your secondary entry a little bit downwards in here. So if you are not into a trade, well, this would be the next trade setup. All right, what is up next in this zone? Solana. So let's take a look at Solana really quickly. Let's make sure that it's not market cap. All right, perfect. And well, then Solana, we're getting again at the topic here on resistance. I was expecting to have a possible reversal somewhere around these zones. As you can see, this was of course on the daily, looking for that retracement to or into that, out of this order block into the next order block. All right, let's go back to the 4 hours. I think it looks a little bit better. In fact, let me clean this up a little bit for you guys. There we go. And we have a lot of resistance up here and a lot of support right down here. In fact, you already have seen that I'm looking for another long somewhere around 130. So this is a good area to long it. Keep an eye on that. I'm gonna be adding another alerting here. This is gonna be in case we start failing the previous lows, so I can start shorting it just for this little itty bitty zone. All right, but if you're looking for, or if you're hunting for a short, I would recommend maybe looking it up in here until or unless we have a breakout of this trend line. Right, so the next thing I'm gonna be doing is adding an alert and making sure I just slightly give myself that little space. All right, perfect. So let's go and take a look at what else we have in here. And right here we can see after Solana, Tron, and Dogecoin. Oof. All right, let's take a look at what does Tron tells us. So let's go over TRX. I got it right here. And Tron is making something that looks like a bull flag. All right, so we have the pole right down here. So very straightforward. And we have the breakout of that bull flag. We have a loud order block at the top. Let me just clear this up for you guys. And let me just minimize this one in here. So we have a little bit more space. And right here at the top, we have a loud order block. Not only a loud order block, we have a liquidity zone, a daily resistance, and another liquidity zone. We're also seeing a flip of the ribbon. All right. So how do we trade this? Well, we should have traded it before or at the breakout, but we already have the breakout. And this is right now very dangerous to trade. So we either need to wait for this retracement to play it out, or short it from somewhere around here and then long it from somewhere around there, or wait for the rejection, look for a support, look for a lower high, and then short it all the way down here. All right. So let's go ahead and keep an eye on Tron. I also want to take a look at how's my market oracle doing, and I'm on a big longing here. So far so good, nothing to worry about. If the movement has already happened, great, let it go. Don't worry, we are planning for the up next movement. All right, so don't worry, let's just give it a couple of candles and then we're gonna execute a couple of other things. All right, so for now, since this is the warm-up, let's leave it as is for right now. Tomorrow we're gonna be taking a look at how this plays out, and we're gonna be bringing up more setups. So remember, tomorrow is gonna be 1 hour earlier, so it will be 6 CST, 6 Central Time until 7 p.m. I'll adjust it on the Discord so you guys have the accurate timing. And guys, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I'm very happy to see you guys in here. Other than that, see you guys tomorrow.